Hey, what's up?
What's up,
It's Saturday night.
everybody? You know how it is.
I'm really looking forward to this. Like, I don't even want to say too much more. I just want to get in it. But anyway, it's Saturday night. You already know what it is. It's time for another episode of Have a Conversation After Dark. Listen, if you're watching right now, share this. That's my ask. Share this. We want as many people in the comments as possible. We got some great guests that are going to come in and
Mhm.
help with this conversation tonight. So share this. It's very easy. Just click the share button, share it. Regina is already in the place. Good evening to you,
Good
Regina.
evening,
Thank you for being
Regina.
here. Regina, share this so we can get all your folks in here as well. Regina was a great part of last week's conversation, and this is part two. So we are ready. So if you're new to this, Have a Conversation After Dark is just an opportunity to spark conversation. We toss some things out there. Sometimes they're taboo, sometimes they're tense, sometimes they're funny, sometimes whatever the case is. But the goal is for you now to begin to have conversation with your mate, because conversation is a catalyst for growth. Conversation is a catalyst for learning. Conversation is just, you should be engaging in conversation.
Should be.
You should be,
Yeah.
right? So we're going to get right into it. No long talking. Share it as people come in. We will be here. Tanisha is in the comments as well. Regina Brown, good evening. So here we go. If you did not see last week's, so the subject for tonight is, if you won't meet my needs, someone else will.
Mm.
Part two.
Mhm.
You might need to go back and watch part one, but let me cue up the context for this. We have Jamal and Dr. Tanisha Pride and Dr. Terry Parks with us, and they're gonna come in just a second after I play this video. This is the video that is kind of the context for what we're talking about. We're talking about, hey, How do we navigate this space
Mm-hmm.
if she, or let's not put it on her, because last week I put it on her.
Sure
So
did.
I put it on me this time. What happens if I'm not meeting her needs and someone else is stepping up to the plate to do so?
Mm,
How do we navigate that? That's what we're
yeah.
talking about. And it is based off of this video. So let's play this video.
I've been married twice, and I was never a good husband. The second time, I was a good husband for the first 8 or 9 years.
First of all, for those of you who might get offended, I didn't cue this up last week. You might hear one or two curse words. Let me just throw that out there. Here we go.
But after a while, I wasn't getting certain things at home. Never initiated sex, never made me feel sexy, never made me feel good about myself. Only time she ever told me she loved me was when I was walking out the door, but I never felt love. And it was, nothing was happening at home. And even when I would ask her for sex, it would be like, can I get a rain check? Like, fuck, I'm gonna get a rain check. Say the damn store. Say the damn Piggly Wiggly. You know what I mean? And so that kept on happening, and I did not feel good about myself, and I became depressed. So I understand where he's coming from. I started gaining weight, and after a while, I did not want to cheat because I had been faithful for a long period of time. And I tried to stay there because my first marriage, I was a dog. I really was a dog. So I was trying to do it the right way. And then eventually you run into somebody that tells you everything that you want to hear.
All right. You run into somebody who tells you everything you want to hear. So there were some questions that we asked last week. One of those questions was, should my well-being, because he talked about getting depressed and he talked about gaining weight and that kind of thing, should my well-being be tied to the success or failure of my relationship? We talked about that last week for a little bit. We talked about how do we even broach this topic?
Right.
Like, can I even come to you and be like, hey, old girl filling in gaps?
And you were surprised that I said that you could come to me.
I don't know if surprised was the right word.
You didn't believe that you could come to me.
I don't even know if it's that. It's just, I don't know how I would come to you, because here's the thing. What I don't want you to do, and I queued this clip because I was going to post it. I never did. What I don't want you to do when I come to you and say that is be angry or upset with me. Or what you said you were going to do is confront the girl.
I would be both. I would do both. I would be angry. Why?
And no, I'm not saying you shouldn't be. I'm not saying you shouldn't be.
You just wouldn't
I'm just
want
saying
me
I
to
don't,
be.
that's not the reaction I want. So I'm not sure if I would even come to you with that, because that's not the reaction I want. And I can't even tell you what the reaction is that I want.
I feel like that is selfish on your part.
Oh man. Okay.
No, I do.
Tell me why.
Because I feel like you're just trying to protect how you would feel when I didn't even do anything wrong. So of course I would be angry or upset with me.
I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything wrong either. So I am trying to protect. Like, I'm not trying to have the world come down on my head. All I'm trying to tell you is, hey, listen, this is happening. I just want to raise the alarm.
But I feel like you wouldn't want to tell me, or because of the reaction that I would have towards you is unfair, because I feel like that's just you trying to protect how you would feel.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
And that's not really fair, in my opinion.
Let's bring our folks in.
Okay.
Let's bring our folks in. First of all, we got the one and only.
Oh,
thank you for being here, bro.
Pastor Tally.
Appreciate you. He said, wow. We having real conversations over here, Pastor. Listen, let's get in, man. We got some good folks here, man. We got and my applause aren't working, so forgive me, but we got Jamal and Dr. Tanisha Pride here with us, and we got my guy, Dr. Terry Parks. If you watched last week, these folks were in the comments heavy and helping to drive the conversation, so we would be fitting to have you folks here. So Let me hold on one second. Let me get so Tally said if your husband
Needed
That's a good question.
and you had
and you had water,
Would you
no
be angry?
water.
You had
And you
no
had-
water. Would you
Oh.
be angry? That's a
Who?
good question.
That's a good question. Okay, Tally, we're gonna come back to that. Tally said, my peoples. Darren Hewitt, what's good, man? Thank you for being here. All right, so listen.
I just
That's
have
a
to
good
say
question.
this.
That's a good question.
That is
love
a good
that
question.
too. That's right.
That's a good question. I just have to say this.
Mhm.
Dr. Parks threw this video at us,
Mhm.
right? Stirred up all of this.
Yeah.
And he didn't even remember that
we-
he sent it to us. So he threw it and was like, all right, I'm out.
I love it. I think it's great. So I appreciate. So we got to credit Dr. Parks for this. He sent us this video, and that kind of sparked the conversation for us, man. But listen, how do we? And I will allow for Jamal and Tanisha. I will allow you to
Say whatever you
go
wanna say.
as far or as right. So I'm not going to push that at all. How does one broach this?
Who are you talking to?
I'm just throwing it out to anybody. Like how, because you heard what we were saying, right? So I don't know that I would come to her. She feels like that's selfish for me to not to come to her.
Because you're protecting you.
I am definitely trying to protect me. Let's be clear. I am, especially if I haven't done anything yet. Now, if I have, that's a different conversation altogether.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
But if I haven't done anything yet, I'm not trying to have you come down on my head just because I'm trying to alert you.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I get that.
So when you say alert, are you saying alert her that your needs are not being met?
Yep.
Okay.
But don't I already know, even though it's not right for me to not meet your needs, don't I already know that your needs are not being met? Why would you need your needs are not being met? Why would you need to alert me to that?
I mean, do you?
Yeah.
I mean, you may not be aware,
Mhm.
or you may have some other things on your mind or going on in your life that you're not paying attention to the fact that you're not meeting his needs, and he's just making sure that you're aware that the fact that you're not meeting his needs are in the forefront of your mind, because he's sitting there feeling it, and you may have 100 other things going on
Mm-hmm.
that you may not even realize that you put him on the back burner.
Right.
So he's sitting there like, hey, let's raise this alarm so that you're aware. And in that instance, I don't think there's a reason to get upset. However, I would also in that instance not be like, hey, by the way, there's this other girl over here that's willing and ready to go ahead and fill in this gap if you're not available, because I know you're busy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So Jamal, you're saying you would not say that there's somebody else waiting in the wings to do it. You would just say that the needs are not being met.
I wouldn't bring that up. I just make
Okay.
sure that my wife is aware that I'm feeling neglected, and give her the chance to step up.
Interesting. Okay.
What
I think to look at is what phase are you in your relationship?
Right.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So like if you guys are newlywed, newlyweds for the most part, you guys may be, doing it like, rabbits, and then over time with kids and, promotions, people are moving up, you're working later or whatever, you get into this phase where people start taking advantage of each other. I always used to tell folks, if you're not taking care of home, don't be mad when they roam, and so you have to understand, like, Denise said, shouldn't I know, shouldn't I know that my partner's not being taken care of? Okay. And there's so many things that you can click off. A closed mouth don't get fed. If you don't tell them, hey, look, if you send me out here hungry, I'm going to eat. There's so many different ways you can broach it and say it.
Yeah. However,
if you're trying to, get your partner to understand, this is what a lot of people don't understand. This goes for men too, but it kind of mostly, dangles on women. It's like, so can I you know, I'll ask you this, Denise.
Mm-hmm.
Can Oliver cheat on you?
No.
Okay. So it's only you, right? It's all about you. You're the only one. Correct?
Yes, correct. Yes.
Okay. So why are you withholding? If he's the only one that you can have,
Yeah.
then how dare you hold back? But you get mad if I go out here and do something else. But you're withholding from me because you're mad or whatever the case may be. Biblically, I think the only time you're not supposed to go to a woman is when she's in her custom. We all know what that is. Okay. That's the only time you should be really denied. Well, of course, if she's sick or dying or something like that. But, you know, it's not like, babe, let's get this one in before you check out. You know, you don't want to do that. What I'm saying is that, you know, if you're the only one, be it husband or wife, if I can't have anybody else in this, what is this, 8 billion people in the world? So I'm going to say, since men outweigh women, that's probably 4 billion women. If I choose you out of 4 billion, how dare you tell me no? If I can't do anything else, if I can't play on my phone and, you know, with everybody else and doing other stuff like that, if I can't do that, then guess what? You really need to take care of home. That's just it. And playing the how can I say? Can I say this? Is this what
you can say whatever you want, Doc.
Family show? Is this the family show?
Yeah,
No,
go ahead.
You can say whatever you want.
The deal is you can't play the panty game. You see what I'm saying? Because when you want, Sally will, and when you want, Jody will. That's what guys call it in my class. She got a Jody down there. You know, I guess that's from Baby Boy. You know, and so that you have to be in tune with. You know your person's desires. You know how they are with. If they're constantly grabbing on you all day long, and they're like, "Yo, hey, easy, calm down. Let me," you know they want it.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily that I gotta have it then and there on the spot. It's like, I'm feeling you. I'm telling you. And there are ways to do that, because when it comes to foreplay, foreplay is 24/7, 365. You see what I'm saying? It's always going on. It's always going on. You know, if I'm out here and I'm killing a buffalo every day, bringing that home, that's foreplay. You see what I'm saying? If the lights on, if that heat on, you got, you know, water running, your car no pay, you got Wi-Fi, you got that's hey, 24/7, 365. That's foreplay all day long. You know, that's what I'm talking about. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. How dare you deny me?
Yeah,
that's deep.
I'll rest on that.
That's deep. Look, so and I love that you went there, because I got some thoughts about that too. Tana said, by alerting her, what reaction would be ideal? That's a great question. I don't know what would be ideal. I know what would not be. And I don't know what would be ideal. Now, here's the thing. I differ from Jamal in that, and I hear you, bro. And as I heard you say it, I'm like, yeah, maybe that is not a good idea. But I am the type of guy, because of the communication style that I have, I am going to be like, hey, Jane, hey, she waiting in, she in the batter's box. So what are we going to do? And that's probably not the best way to go about it.
Definitely not.
After hearing Jamal say that, I'm like, yeah, bro, I think you're right. I think you're right about that. So I don't know what it would be, man. But that's I don't know what would be ideal. I think what would be ideal.
Know what would be ideal? What would you want? How would you want me to react? That's the question.
Okay, so to answer that question, how I would want you to react is, I would want you to now somehow be in a position to receive what I'm going to say next by asking this kind of question. Okay, what do you need? So that I can be like, hey, listen, man, you know what I'm saying? It's been 3 months. It's been, you know, man, I need to get it more, you know, whatever it is. And we can have that conversation.
Yeah. That's your
as opposed
reaction.
as opposed to the, you know, anger or whatever. Tally said there's a difference in providing awareness of a need as opposed to introducing a threat, which is probably what I would have been doing. So yes. I get that. Yeah, I get that.
But also, I think this is more layered than we're making it out to be.
Okay.
We're simply saying that it's a matter of the woman or your spouse acknowledging and recognizing your need and making sure that they are there to help fulfill that need. But I think it's not just a matter of just that. A lot of times we find ourselves in infidelity. Our spouse, having breached the marital, the marriage vows, because it's a little deeper. So I don't want to get too personal too soon, but one of the things was we weren't newly married, but what I found is I got into a PhD program, right? And so it's not that I wasn't looking at my husband like, oh, I'm not going to fulfill your need, or I know you have needs, but I'm busy. I was so overwhelmed having a full-time job, being a mother of 3 children, and being a PhD student, and being a wife, and being active in church, that really the intimacy fell by the wayside. So the whole time I'm not withholding purposely and intentionally, right? So I want us to understand that not all wives, not all husbands withhold intentionally. A lot of times life be lifing, right? And so before you know it, because of life, you're like, oh my goodness, like it's been months and I'm still busy and I still can't focus and pay attention to you like you need. And I hope you understand, because my goals is to be Dr. Pride. So because of that, I'm glad you understand, but I'm wrapped up in this PhD program. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So with that being said, his needs weren't being met, but mine weren't either. But I was so wrapped up in my program, in my grad studies, that, we looked to the left, looked to the right, and it was like, we haven't been intimate in years now, because this is a 4-year program. So that's what I'm saying. I want us to understand, especially because we have 20 people watching us, 20 people on here live with us. I want us to understand that it's not just a matter of, oh, your spouse's needs need to be met. Why aren't you meeting them? Right. Life be lifing. And we need to be real, especially nowadays. Life be lifing. So, it's not an intentional thing, but we have to make sure that no matter how full our plate is, we are prioritizing our spouse and the intimacy that needs to happen between us.
I really appreciate that you said that, because I think that the tendency is for us to think that women, not always women, sometimes husbands as well, but I think that the tendency is for us to just automatically think that it's not because life be life, and it's just because you're being selfish or whatever. And that I appreciate that you said that, to add to the conversation. What you got, Doc?
I think too that when you talk about intimacy and you talk about infidelity, there's more than one level of intimacy, and there's more than different levels of. So when you talk about, infidelity, there's a lot of financial infidelity that happens in relationships. You follow what I'm saying? There's a lot of, other types of, infidelity. There's also different levels. Okay. There's different levels of okay. There's different levels of intimacy. Intimacy does not just mean sex. Okay. So when we're talking about intimacy, there's about 5 levels. You got your spiritual intimacy. You got your intellectual intimacy. You got your compatibility intimacy. You got your emotional intimacy. And then you got your sexual intimacy. And basically that's the way they pile up. That spiritual intimacy is like, hey, do we have the same beliefs and values and hopes and dreams? Do we do that? Intellectual, I am, trying to be, on this level. Is this person, is this person trying to get there with me? Do we have the same goals in mind, or, whatever, the case may be? You may have somebody that says, well, I got a PhD. And this person was like, well, I got a GED. Now you may love them or whatever the case may be, but down the line, how does that work for you? If that's something that's not going to work for you, then why even entertain that? Okay. And the compatibility intimacy. A friend of mine said, to one of her friends one time, we don't match. You know what I'm saying? And when you talk about compatibility, it's like, do we complement each other? And I don't mean like, oh, you look nice today. Oh, you look nice today. No,
Right.
do we go together?
Right.
Yeah.
Do we go together? Do we match? That emotional intimacy, that's where you're able to express a full range of emotions.
Mm-hmm.
If I can't come to you and feel safe with how I'm feeling, man, who am I going to go to?
Yeah.
My work wife, my work husband,
Watch out now.
who gets me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like you're at work and it's like, hey, what's going on? Nothing, just, problem.
Yeah.
And they're going to keep prying because
Yeah.
they want to know.
So true.
So
true.
They want to keep know. They want to know. It's like that person at church that says they know something bad happened and they say, how you doing? They don't really care about you. They're just nosy. They really want to know what's going on because they know you're going to talk if they keep pressing you. And so if I can, if Ali goes to, Denise and say, I'm feeling kind of bad about so-and-so. And she look at him like, what? You're supposed to be a man. How you coming at me like this?
Exactly.
Like a girl. Man, I need somebody that's strong up in here. I need somebody that, then when he put his hands on you, that's not the kind of strong you were looking for.
Mercy.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't have it both ways. And so the deal is, what you got to understand is, at some point, I have to be safe. We're always taught as men to repress our emotions. Quick note. And I did a blog about this years ago. I said he can't tell you how he feels. Okay. And when you think about this real quick, think about, and this could happen too in a dual parent household. But think about a woman who's trying to raise boys, or a boy herself. And she tells him what? Hey, your dad ain't here. Now, dad could either have left, be incarcerated, or dead. I need you to man up. I need you to be boy. You don't cry. We don't cry in here. Mercy. So she's teaching him as a young boy.
Yeah.
Press that because know how to raise a man. You see what I'm saying? And so she's telling him, I need you to tough. You're the man of the house now. So she's telling him at an early age. So he grows up repressing. You better go down there and get your bike. What are you crying for? Mom, get your bike and dry it up.
Yeah.
You better go get that bike, because if you don't, I'm gonna get you. We're gonna have a problem.
Yeah.
Now he becomes tough.
Wow.
And so now keep in mind, we're still on this emotional intimacy. And so what happens is he gets tough, and then it gets reinforced. His peer group, coaches, the peer group, man, you acting like a little girl. Your coach, y'all playing like women out here. You see what I'm saying? And so you get tough, and then you get hit. And then you on the ground, and then you get up, I'm all right, and you limping off to the side, and you really want to cry, but you're holding it in because you were told to repress. That's not what a man does. And then he starts dating, and he bring this girl to mama house, and mama asks how they doing. Well, Miss Marcel, we doing okay, but sometimes he just don't share with me about how he feel and whatever, and then mama say this. Well, girl, you know how men are.
Yeah.
Mama,
mercy.
You taught him that.
You created that.
You taught him to repress that. And now he won't even share with you. You taught him to repress that, and he doesn't know how to function in a relationship, because that could have been taught with a woman, single parent in the household, or even both parents in the household.
It's true. It's true.
Okay, even both parents, it can happen. But a lot of times it happens when there's just what? That single woman who's trying to raise that boy and trying to, let me get him in football, let me get him in basketball, let me put him where I can, because that's where the boys at, that's where the men are, whatever. And all the time, you can't cry in here. You don't see me crying, I can't cry, but mama crying in the shower, and mama cry herself at night in that pillow because she's doing it all by herself. And so she's trying to teach him, because guess what? I don't know how to deal with that.
Yeah.
We don't know how to deal with grief and loss.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we say dumb stuff. I do psychiatric I can't even remember what I do. For people who are having bariatric surgery. So I do the psychologicals, because you got to have one before you have the surgery. And what I get back on the report is a lot of people have used food for comfort.
Yeah.
They use it as a reward. And I say, now think about this. We do it to our kids. Our parents did it to us, and your grandparents did it to your parents.
Mercy.
You know what I'm saying? Because we don't know how to deal with, oh, what happened at school today? Okay, look, that's all right. Come on. Let's go get a Happy Meal. Let's go get an ice cream cone.
True.
Let's go. And you never address the issue, but you're replacing it with food. And as you get older, it's just like with death. Oh, they're in a better place now. Or I remember that time my mother died. Or I remember my dog died. And you don't know what to say. And so the last one, of course, is sexual intimacy. And I think a lot of times, you know, folks just want to get on and hop on and do whatever. And they just like, hey, I need a little bit more. Now, sometimes that's satisfying. But for the most part, it's like, hey, do we, you know, feel comfortable with expressing our sexual desires or lack of desire? What we're talking about here, you know, the physical act of intercourse, it could be what, mechanical, or it could be intimate.
Yeah.
You ever get to that mechanical point? You're like, man, we kind of do the same thing. It's the same routine every time, you know. I want you to dress up like a little nurse, or I want you to whatever y'all got going on. Okay. But there's different levels of intimacy, and I appreciate Doc for bringing that out. But I just wanted to say, hey, you know, let's talk a little bit, because we got, I don't know how many people on here listening.
Yeah,
there's different levels of intimacy. It's not just sex.
Absolutely.
And if you're not connecting on all those levels, it's gonna be well, all right, let me just go ahead and do this because that's what you want, and you know, or that's what she want. Let me just get in and get out.
That's the point.
And with that, I'm glad you brought up the different levels of intimacy, because like my wife was saying, for years we weren't intimate. Now, to be clear, we were having sex, but there was no intimacy.
There it is.
For years. And I want to make sure that point is driven home. Like that would shut up, Telly. Like, I want to be clear, because like we're husband and wife. We were just doing what was expected because we were husband and wife, but the intimacy was gone. And it was because I knew that emotionally I wasn't safe with her. I couldn't come to her. And so I found somebody else that was allowing me to be safe with them. And so I found somebody else to be intimate with on multiple levels. And that's where we had our issues. And so when I was home, there was no desire to be intimate with her. And so we of course had to come to grips with that at a later date. But it was rough for a long time. You know what I'm saying? So
when I, of course, started my PhD, I was like, well, I'm busy. And it was something that I didn't miss. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Right.
It does.
And so here's what's interesting, right? It's from the outside looking in, we can say a lot about, well, you should have done this and you could have done that. And the third, right? But realistically, right? Are you even recognizing that a pattern is forming? And I'm not asking you to answer that, but I'm just saying, like, you know,
that's good.
Like we can Monday morning quarterback this all day long, right?
Right.
But when you're in the thick of it, especially in the situation that you described, mother of 3, wife, doctoral program, career, all this other stuff is going on, right? What we noticed in 2020, right? Before COVID, we had a routine. I was still in the corporate space at that time. I was still working my corporate job at that time. Sometimes anywhere between 8 and 13 hours a day, I'd be gone out of the house. When I get home, there is a certain set of things that happen every evening. Dinner, some type of conversation around something. Maybe we watch our favorite show. Maybe something happens and we in the bed so we can do it all over again. Let me be clear. I did not think anything was awry.
Correct.
Now come 2020, I'm home. She had already been home. So this was no adjustment for her at all. It's me coming into their environment 24 hours a day, looking at each other and realizing, wait a minute, the intention is not there. And to speak to what you were saying, Jamal, everything, fireworks is still getting shot off, bro.
Right.
Like, let's be clear.
Right.
But the intention around that holistic intimacy building was not there. And the stuff we say about intimacy now in 2023 and 24 comes out of that 2020 experience. And so I'm not saying that as an excuse, but I'm just saying, you know,
we can see how that could happen.
Right. That's spot on. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. It's some great comments, man. Tana, I'm gonna put your comment back up in just a second. Just said that's good. Pop, it is a pattern because we get used to ignoring intimacy. Right.
Yes.
And we're not, sometimes we're not even maliciously doing it. Now there are people who are maliciously doing it.
Right.
I can say for us, we weren't maliciously doing that.
Right.
We were still having date night. We were still doing all this other stuff, but just the intention around holistic intimacy building was swallowed up in routine.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's
and that can happen. And that's one end of the spectrum.
Wow.
The other end of the spectrum is the person who's just like, you know, I don't care what you want.
I'm gonna be out here in these streets.
Right.
Be out here in these streets. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Tana, this was a good comment. The ultimate
intimate sexual experience should be one where both partners' needs are being met. I absolutely want to please my husband, but if all that matters is his needs and not mine, that's not intimacy. That's just sex.
Yes,
we can do sex, but know that our relationship will have other issues.
Yes, sis.
That's it.
And here's the thing, right? Just like you said, Jamal, that can lead to now the other components of that holistic experience being sought after in other places.
That's right. That's right.
So it's not just the act of sex.
Yeah.
It's holistically like, what are the needs?
Exactly.
You know, so man, that's good. That's good stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Listen, all of y'all that are watching this, let's be clear about this. Everybody who's watching this knows somebody who needs to be watching this conversation. So share it. There's 27, well, it was 29 for a second. Somebody jumped off, was like, I ain't trying to share. So there's 27 people watching this conversation right now. Just click the share button. I promise you, somebody needs to know this, because we can attest to this, and I know everybody that's in this grid can attest to this, that so many people go through this and don't say anything.
Yeah.
True. True.
Because they don't know what to say. They don't know who to say it to. And let's keep it a buck. In our faith-based community, we don't want to say it.
That's right.
Right.
Very true.
Because we don't want to be judged. We will get judged quicker than we will get help.
Yep.
Wow.
Every time.
Wow.
Every time.
That's right.
And so that's why these conversations need to take place.
There was a comment, but did you scroll past it? And it was before Tana's comment. Did you, that one?
This one here?
Yeah.
Stephanie.
Yes, Miss Stephanie. It should be a wife's pleasure to please her husband. A part of lifing, that was in response to your comment, Dr. Tanisha, is caring for the leader of your home.
Okay.
I mean,
what you gonna say?
I mean, technically that should be right, but I don't know. That's ideal.
That is ideal.
That's ideal. And yes, we all want to do that for our husbands, but I can't what's the word? Discredit Dr. Tanisha and Jamal's situation at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's one end of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum is Stephanie can say that, but I could never say that to Stephanie. Like let's keep it up. Let's keep it all the way above. Let's keep it above.
Say it again. Say it again.
So Stephanie can say that
it should be the wife's
that it should be a wife's pleasure to please her husband. I could dare not say that to Stephanie or to you.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And that disparity right there causes a chaotic gap.
Yep.
Because I could never say that to you
Exactly.
or to Stephanie or to any woman.
Right.
I would get stoned for saying that.
Exactly.
It's true.
Mhm.
You laughing, Doc. You know it's true.
It's true. You know it's true too.
I'll get stuff. Well, here's the thing. Can you put her comment back up?
Yep.
Okay.
Can you put her comment back up?
Like,
Come on,
I-
Doc.
he's like,
Come
I
on,
gotta
Doc.
see it.
I want to make sure. Okay. It should be the wife's pleasure to please her husband. A part of lifing is caring for the leader of your home. Okay. So here's what I think Stephanie is saying here. Okay. She's not saying that it's not the husband's pleasure to please the home. Okay. She's focusing on the wife. Okay. And so as part of lifing, what she's saying is that
Reading Tally's
even though life is lifing, that should be part of. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
When
Yes.
life is lifing, do not. And I'm not trying to take away from what Doc is saying. She got all this stuff, all this stuff going on. However, slide in your husband is what she's saying. That's what she's saying. It's
That's
like,
what she's
hey,
saying.
don't forget, I'm over here. Hey, I got needs on
Yeah.
your quest to become the great doctor. I got need. That's what I feel she's saying in that. And by the same token, he has to make sure. Here's the thing I used to do. You got to take away the excuse. You see what I'm saying? Got to take away the excuse. So now what does that mean? Now,
Tally.
don't take this.
Tally.
Don't take this any way, Doc. All right. So here's what we're doing. So, I was correct. Okay. So, here we go. I'm in a PhD program. We got 3 kids. When I come home at night, I still got to attend to them. They tend to take priority now. Okay. And so while, I'm sitting back watching, sports or whatever, and she's running around doing everything. And I'm just sitting here waiting in the bed, and I got my pup tent ready to go. I'm just waiting. Those of you know what a tent looks like. Okay, I'm just sitting in there waiting. It's like, okay. And so now I don't want to hear excuses. And let me tell you, this is what I did one time. Okay. I had devotion with my son, while she was dealing with my daughter. She had pulled out something to wear. I took it. I ironed it because I can cook, clean, wash, iron, sew, and do hair. I ironed it, did everything or whatever. She came out, was like, I said, I already did it. Did you already? Tyler's gone to bed. I'm just laying there like, yeah, you have nothing to say.
Right. So now
I'm on in here and that ain't done.
Right. And I'm sure all the women would agree that's a turn on. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah,
And so the deal is when she's so busy, I know she's going to come with, well, I'm doing all this. What are you doing? I have now removed the excuse from. Now, I can't do your work for you in the PhD program, but I'm going to do everything I can else around this house. So you ain't got no excuse. I don't want to hear Nathan. Come on in here. I done helped out. I don't want to hear that. And so it has to be a mutual. It has to be on both sides. You know what I'm saying? It has to be on both. So
and what you talking about is strategy, Doc.
Exactly.
Absolutely. It's like, you know what? I want her. I don't want to go over here because, Keisha, I hate using that name. My accountant is named Keisha, but Keisha always, it's such a good name. Like Keisha on the job, be trying to holler at me.
Come on, Keisha.
Man, I'm telling you, and so it's not good to come home and make a threat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And say, look, oh girl, I got plenty of women out here that'll do X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Now I'm talking about if you're married, it's not good to threat.
Right.
Oh, really?
That's
well,
right.
then maybe you need to go ahead and get them to fulfill your needs. If that's the way you feel, see, when you play that game, that's a very dangerous game to play.
Yeah.
It's a very dangerous game to play. And yes, I'm talking about strategies. Strategy. Hey, that sounds like a book. Strategies to get the cookie. And so the deal is that
there you go.
Women will be, this whole thing about masculine energy and whatever the case. I think we all have, women have masculine energy and men have feminine energy. There's different, we kind of go back and forth. But I think in this situation, when you're talking about strategies, I believe that when a woman feels secure in her relationship with her partner, you will get the most feminine woman that you can. I think, now I could be wrong, okay? But let me just suggest this. I believe that when a woman doesn't have to go to bed worrying about tomorrow, they say they're going to turn these lights off. They say they're coming to get this car.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got money for so-and-so, you know, we got to pay this mortgage. We got rent. All of that's going around in her head. And then you trying to get some. That ain't where her mind is.
Exactly.
You know, and you saying, well, baby, I'll buy some candles if these lights go out. That ain't romantic. You know what I'm saying? Now we got other stuff that ain't working. It ain't just the lights. We need this electricity. The kids got to use a computer. They got school. They have all of this stuff going on. And so therefore, if a woman feels secure, I always say this. I always ask people this. I ask women in my domestic violence classes. Yes, women are in that class. Okay. Tell me what it is. And I ask the men to tell me what is your relationship. Tell me what it is. Okay. And bam, they go off on this long list of things. So I'm going to ask you, I'm going to ask the women tonight. Tell me what things you are looking for when you're looking for a mate. Now, I'm not saying go out there and look for one now. Y'all got mates. I'm saying, what are some of the key things that you look? Give me 5 things, just 5. What would you be looking for?
All right, throw them in the comments. What would you be looking for? 5 things you look for in a mate.
And the women on the panel, you guys can answer too. What 5 things would you be looking for?
Security.
Safety.
Security. What else?
Safety.
Safety.
I need to feel safe space.
Now, security and safety are 2 different things.
Yes.
Just to let people know.
Yes.
Okay. So, anything else?
We got security.
Everybody talking security. You see what I'm saying? So I know I'm right. If you feel secure, man. But here's the thing. Okay, you want somebody that's breathing. Okay, good.
You need to breathe.
We don't want to get into no necrophilia.
Breathe.
Come on, Bassatine.
Now here we go.
We got integrity.
Integrity.
I suggest that there are only 3 things that you need. There are only 3 things. See, nobody has really said it. There's 3 things that you need. And I call it the 3 S's. Okay? The 3 S's. Now people are thinking like, man, what could that be? What could that be? What could that be? The first one is safety. I feel safe in a relationship with my partner. I can share. I will not be, ridiculed. There will not be, there's no fear of reprisal for voicing my opinions. If there's something I don't know, I'm not being called stupid. None of that. Okay. And I feel safe that person will not put their hands on me. I can say what I need to say with respect.
Yes.
Safety.
Yes.
The next is shelter. Can you provide? Do I have to keep a bag packed? Because every time I turn around, we getting evicted out of these apartments and you can't keep a job and you ain't trying to keep a job. Or when I come into the house, it feels like a home. It smells good. Remember when you were a kid? Hey, your daddy coming in the door. Sit down, get out somewhere. Sit down, be quiet.
Yeah.
Dad like, hey, I done came in. I'm tired.
Right.
I ain't got time for foolishness.
Right.
So it feels like a home. Everybody's with you when you walk through the door. And then the third S is support. Ain't nothing sexier than your partner supporting you in your goals.
Yes.
And what are you trying to get accomplished? Baby, you trying to get a PhD? You trying to become doctor? Shoot. Okay. Tell me how that affects the family. See, that's the thing. People don't talk about what's going to happen. They just do it. Okay, now wait a minute. Hold on. I know you want this promotion. I know it's going to bring more money. But like Oliver said, we got a routine going. How does this affect the routine that we have? Well, I'll probably be flying out of town a lot more. And okay. So now we got to go back and do what? Readjust. So here we go. Safety, shelter, and support. I want to go back to, you know what I'm saying?
That's my sister, y'all.
You know, it's like I want to go back. I want to go back to school. Oh, what are the S's? Safety, shelter, and support.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go back to school. Well, what for? What? You ain't do number 4 years anyway, and came out with a G. What are you trying to go back? Who gonna take care of? So if a partner is really complaining, he's really saying, who gonna take care of me? That's what he really saying. Okay. Safety, shelter, and support. I want to start a business. Okay, well, tell me what you're talking about. Well, I want to do this. I got a good idea and da. Okay, cool. Now, how does that affect the dynamic of what we got going on? Well, I was thinking about this. Well, I want to open up a salon and do what? I want to do hair. Okay, you want to do hair. You got a business plan. You got a space. Well, I was thinking I could do it out the house. I don't know if I want all the women coming to my house when I come home and you doing hair late into the. See, those are things you need to talk about. Mm-hmm. Safety, shelter, and support. Now, notice.
Yes.
I didn't say anything about sex, did I?
Correct.
Nope. Why? No, because if you provide them through the right way, you're going to get more than you can shake a stick at.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying?
That's good. That's
I don't
so
have
good.
to mention that because those 3 S's, yeah, I'm doing all of that. Gonna be climbing all over you. You're gonna be like, hey, hold on. Okay, I got enough. I'm good. Okay, I just want to make sure if you're taking care of business up in here.
On point, Doc.
Support. That is the basis of a trusting relationship.
I love it.
That is the basis of a trusting relationship. I need safety, shelter, and support. All that other stuff people talk about, I'd be like, yeah, sure, whatever.
So what I hear you saying, Doc, is we focusing on the wrong needs.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But guess what? Remember that old spaghetti commercial? I think it was Ragu. When they ask about stuff, they say it's in there.
It's in there.
It's in there.
Yeah.
Safety, shelter. It was whoever it was. Ragu, Pregu. Mm-hmm. Safety, shelter, and support. It's in there if you're providing it the right way. And guess what? Men want that too. They want that too.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? Man, I feel safe when I come home. Man, I come home, she got it all nice, decorated during the holidays. Man, I like this, support. I'm going out here to take another job. She moving with me to another state. We doing this. Man, that's support. Man, let me go and break it all. Girl, I love you. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
It's going to happen. But we get to this point where we feel that we're doing our partners a favor. You know what I'm saying?
Come on now.
You feel like you're doing them a favor. Wait a minute. How do you say I do and then you don't?
Wow.
See, here's the thing. A lot of people think that infidelity starts when I'm doing couples therapy. I'll say, okay, so tell me how this all started. And the woman will say, well, he cheated on me and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just listening. I'm like, okay. So when I asked the man, I said, well, tell me what happened. Well, my needs wasn't getting met. And I talked to her about it. And she told me, all of the stuff she had to do. And she wasn't trying to attend to my needs and whatever. And so the woman sitting over here like this, she's just waiting to say some stuff. And I said, so let me get this straight. And then she'll say this. I didn't sign up for this. And I said, you didn't. And I said, what do you mean you didn't sign up for it? I didn't sign up for infidelity. I didn't sign. I said, did you take regular wedding vows? Right. Yes. Got married in the church. Yeah. And I said, well, then you did sign up for it. You did. Because you said, here's the thing. Yeah. Why do people get it before the preacher, the priest, the Parson Brown, or whoever's marrying you? And then they say this, why do you repeat that? Why do you repeat it? Because he tells you to. Repeat after me. And so you do it. You have no clue about what you're about to sign up with. Sign up for. And so you say, I take so-and-so, to wed and be whatever. I can't remember how it all goes down. Yeah. But then it says, forsaking all others. Okay? Forsaking all others. What does forsaking all others mean? It doesn't just mean an individual.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It doesn't just mean an individual.
Very true.
Forsaking all others for rich or for poor, sickness and health, better or worse, to death do us part. So let's start here. Sickness and in health, man, you got to push me around in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. Where you going? I ain't signed up for this. Yes, you did.
Yes, you
I'm
did.
sick. Where are you going?
Yeah.
Rich or for poor? I done lost my job, but you got yours. Look, my money can't be going to pay it. You supposed to be the man. You said rich or poor. We poor right now. Where are you going? Better or worse? It's better. It's worse right now. Where are you going? It's worse. And to me, you can cut out all the other stuff when you get married and just say for better or for worse. Because it's either going to be better or it's going to be worse. You don't even have to say all of that other stuff. And I think I was reading somewhere, and I can't find it, where back in the day, wedding vows were not allowed in church. They were not allowed. Think about this. Look at old wedding or people getting married. You could even take it back to The Godfather, when Michael's getting married, or you take it back to Roots. You never see who talking. You never see who talking. You never see the bride and the groom talking. Why? Because back then you were already groomed for your position. You knew what you were supposed to do. Ain't no need to come up here and talk. Y'all right. Oh, mama, look, we got a little baby girl. Let's name her Denise. And we're going to teach Denise how to cook, clean, wash, iron, sew, make quilts, make all kind of stuff. Oh, look, mama, we had a little boy. Let's name him Oliver. Yeah, we're going to get him to show him how to build a house, hunt, fish, build a fence, do all this stuff, change the oil in the car. Bam, you get together. You already been groomed. You knew what to do.
Yeah.
We don't have that anymore. And I'm not saying women should be barefoot and pregnant. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying a lot of this happens because we've gotten away from the original design of what we should be doing. We have roles. You see what I'm saying? You got guys that don't even know how to change oil, don't know how to put gas in the car. They got to call AAA or somebody to come do something. You're like, what? You don't know how to mix this paint? You don't know how to you don't know how to cut grass? You don't know how to what? We've gotten away from. You got folks that can't boil water. You're like, hey, just come over here and put something in this. So anyway, the bottom line, here's the thing that breaks relationships up. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to be taken. This is one of my
No, you good. You good, Doc.
There are two words that ruin relationships. Look at anybody who separated a divorce, and I'll bet the farm on it that I'm correct. Those two words, expectations and assumptions. Expectations and assumptions ruin relationships. Have you ever had this argument? Well, I expected you to do that. You the mama. I'm expecting. Well, shoot, I assumed you was doing that because you were the.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See, there's nothing wrong with setting expectations. It's when you don't. And you just assume that person knows their role because they're the man or they're the woman.
Facts.
Man, you ain't gonna take a boy out here and teach him how to do so and so.
Facts, Doc.
What you talking about? My dad didn't do that with me. Well, I mean, but still. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me you can't cook? Things again you should have known before you. Well, man, you can't just boil water. I mean, look at this. Put some on there. And when it comes to a rolling boil, that means when it's steady, you can throw some hot dogs in there, some potatoes, you can throw some eggs, you can throw anything in that water, and look, we got a meal. I expected you. I assumed you. And here's the thing. A lot of people are not setting expectations.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If I were to say to you, Oliver says to Denise, like Oliver thinking they on the dating scene, I want a stay-at-home wife. Now that's in Oliver's head.
Right.
So he comes to pick Denise up, and they're talking, they're dating, and he's asking her about, whatever she wants to do. And she said, well, I think I want to be a stay-at-home wife. All of a sudden, I was like, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. When I come through the house, man, I'm going to have a hot meal. And so Oliver does what? Okay? Oliver does what? They get married. But Oliver didn't ask the next important question.
Can you cook?
Can you?
What's the next important question when she says, I want to be a stay-at-home wife? What's the next question for Oliver?
Can you manage the house?
Tell me. No.
Can you cook?
Tell me what that looks like.
Okay.
That's right.
That's interesting because I say that all the time.
You, Oliver, your version and hers
could be two different things.
Very
You're
true.
absolutely right.
Very
true.
true.
What that looks like. Well,
You're
I'm gonna stay at home and take care of the house while you go out and work. Yeah, I get you. But when you say take care of the home, Tell me what that means.
Yeah.
Keep breaking it down. It's
Yeah.
like research. It's like research methods. Numbers mean nothing until you break them down. 98% of men in prison were sexually abused as children. What? Where you get that number from? 98% of the African American men that we interviewed over the course of in the prisons of blah 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 between the ages of that. Now your data is good. Tell me what that looks like to you. Well,
right.
Stay at home. That means that I'm going to be cooking meals. Okay, can you cook? Tell me a recipe. Tell me something. Yes, I can. Can you clean? Can you what? Okay, so you're going to be doing all of that while I work. That's what I'm thinking. And guess what? I ain't going to eat leftovers. You got a problem with that? See, those are things you need to talk about.
Doc, one of the, not to cut you, Doc, but one of the things that it goes right along with what you're saying. One of the things that we were so grateful for, and which had us really good for a few years in our marriage at the beginning, was our premarital counseling.
Yeah.
So our premarital counseling with Pastor Ainsworth Joseph was by far amazing. I mean, we were members of Kingsborough Temple in Brooklyn, New York, in Park Slope. And so, he did our premarital counseling. It was an entire year.
Yeah.
And he refused to marry us until we were finished with the premarital counseling. And he asked us these types of questions.
Yeah.
He made us talk. He brought out things in our relationship, in our personality, in our character.
That's good.
Would we be a good fit for each other?
Yeah.
We went through what was it, like a 200 question survey we had. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. But that the premarital counseling that we had for that year, it brought out so much. So many questions, so many answers, things of that nature were revealed. That's why anytime my peers are telling me like, hey, I'm engaged or I'm going to get married, I'm like, listen, don't skip out on the premarital counseling. And it's also important, if you don't get it with your pastor, go see a marriage counselor to do it, because no matter what you believe in, you need premarital counseling.
Yeah.
So
and that's a very great point. And you also got to know who you're going to get it from.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Because as my grandmother used to say, everybody ain't able. You see what I'm saying? And so you can go and you can go see somebody. Let's say you have issues with, domestic violence, power and control. And you go and you see a pastor who is coming from a book that's basically patriarchal.
Yeah.
And so now you go into this thing and you're thinking, this is all I'm supposed to be doing, and da 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 da, and and he's admonishing the woman. And I say this: there are a lot of times, that pastors practice outside of their documentable competencies.
Agree.
Okay?
Yep.
What that means is you really don't know what you're doing. You can help me with my spiritual walk.
Yeah, true.
But over here, so it's good that you said that. Find the right person for you.
Yeah, we researched.
The other point I'm gonna make, and I'm gonna be quiet.
Turned out to be the best one.
Yeah, and he's also at Andrews now. He's the family life. Pastor Ainsworth Joseph. He's the family life. He's a family life professor at eight. Yeah, this is his gift. Yes, this is his gift. So he's, we call him Dad. So yeah.
Right. So lastly, what I'll say is this. A lot of times you can't account or, prepare for everything, in the beginning.
Right. Yeah.
But when those new things pop up, guess what we got to do? We got to go back and revisit the contract because this wasn't in the initial. Now, you said you was going, well, you know what? We didn't account for me having 3 babies at one time. You know what I'm saying? We didn't account for me losing there was a whole lot of things. So now let's go back and revisit the contract and let's say, okay, now we got something new. You know what I'm saying? This is and then people get to arguing. I didn't know you were like this. I didn't know you was this type of person. I didn't know you. Here's the thing. And I will say this. I used to say people don't change. I'm going to say this. I'm changing that now to say people refuse to change. Okay. I used to say people don't change, their circumstances do. Okay? You still that same individual, but things around you are happening and you're doing what? You're adapting and you're adjusting to them. You're the same individual. You see what I'm saying? It's just that what? You may not do that anymore, but given the right circumstances, you may pop right back out and do that again. It's still there, and it's been with you a very, at a very early age. What, your personality is formed at what? 6, 7 years old.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so you become who you become. And so now you're growing and you're adapting to everything that is coming in your life, but you're that same individual. You're that same individual. All right, I'm done. I ain't gonna say nothing else.
That's
what's up. Mia's in the house. What's up, Mia?
What's up, Mia?
What's
Hey,
good, family?
Mia. That's
Mia,
my
you need to
sister.
call me.
What's happening? What's happening?
My sister in Delaware. Hey, Mia.
That's what's up. Yeah, good people.
That was
good people's
good,
out
Doc.
there. Yeah, that was good. That was good.
good.
So listen, here's the thing, right? There's gonna be a part 3.
Gotta be.
The part 3, and I don't want to put Tanisha and Jamal on the spot, but
We good, family. We good.
Part 3, what I want to do for part 3 is actually have married couple. I want couples on for part 3, because the what I want to dig into in part 3 is how do we survive what this guy was talking about, because it doesn't sound like he survived it.
Right.
And I don't know, because there's no context, but it doesn't.
About the video?
Right, the video.
Right,
It doesn't
the video.
sound like he survived it.
Pointing at me.
The only
Right.
reason
That's
the only
right.
reason I'm putting you on the spot is because you have. So if you are willing next week, there'll probably be you and maybe one other maybe 2 other couples. We'll see.
Absolutely.
But that's where I want to go, because often we have these conversations, and what we do is we just leave it open-ended for everyone who's watching to now pick up the conversation on their own. But I think this needs a bow tied on it, because there are a lot of people who are dealing with this, and they're dealing with it silently.
Yes.
There are a lot of folk, I dare say, and I'm not a prophet, but I'm just feeling like I should say this. There are a lot of people who are dealing with this, and they have not said nothing to their mate. They're just sitting in silence, contemplating whether they're going to give in to Joe or Sally. And we got to figure out how we keep that from happening.
Yeah.
Or if it has happened, how do we survive it? Because to speak to what you said, Terry, this is a very controversial thing that you said that I agree with, is that you did sign up for it.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't want to hear that.
That's right.
A lot of people don't want to hear that, but you did sign up for it. And Tanisha, you and Jamal know, because you came in one week when we were doing this at Miracle. We're going through the vows.
Right.
Yeah.
We're going through the traditional vows right now and really digging through that.
Yeah.
This next one next week is in sickness and in health. So you did sign up for it. Now, you may not have paid attention, like your boy right here. I didn't pay. I don't even know what I said, because I only had one goal in mind. Like, people know that about me. I had one goal. Man, I would have said, if you said repeat after me, the sky is blue, I'd have said that, man. I was just trying to get this.
Yeah.
I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So we got to talk about now, how do we do that? Because if that's, and here's what we're not saying. What we're not saying is that this is supposed to be a part of your journey. What we are saying is Tally cutting up. What we are saying is that
Adriana's comment. She said she laughed through her vows.
So what we're not saying is that it has to be a part of your experience, but what we are saying is that you should probably have some idea on how you can navigate. I had a friend who failed to get clear on the subject and became
bisexual.
Wow.
No, you got to read the next one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He said Tally is wild, folks.
And I want to be clear on our testimony.
Bisex.
I'd just like to be clear on me and my husband's testimony.
Yes.
So my husband is a survivor of emotional infidelity. I am a survivor of physical infidelity. So we are looking forward to, I'm telling you prematurely, absolutely yes. We are looking forward to sharing our testimony.
You need to check with me first.
We good? Okay.
Yeah, we can.
Okay. We're looking forward to next week.
Yeah.
Okay. So cool. So that's what we're gonna. So for next week, that's how we're gonna do. Listen, those of you who are watching, or if you're watching the replay, share this. If you came in and this conversation tonight is new to you, there is a part 1 that you can go back and watch. It's in the link to it is in the description, in the notes. Also, shameless plug. This 1+1=1 T-shirt is a really nice T-shirt.
It is a really nice.
It is a nice shirt.
You should probably go get yourself one. Those of you who are watching, and you can do that as well in the comments there. I mean, in the description, there's a link for that as well. So listen, here's the thing. I don't want to keep everybody late. We're gonna come back and do this for a part 3. Shout out to everybody in the comments. Appreciate that. Man, thank you for your humor. We love that. That's a wonderful part addition to this. Appreciate you, fam. Just said he got his.
Yay.
That's what's up. So, as we say all the time, listen, conversation is a catalyst for growth. Conversation is a catalyst for learning your spouse, right? Conversation is a catalyst for connection.
Yeah.
So you should be having some conversations, and you don't have these conversations in anticipation of the event. You have these conversations so that you can learn each other in a way that causes you to craft strategy around how you can maybe avoid those events and or navigate them if you happen to go through them.
Correct.
Right. Exactly. And I think I said this last week. We don't go on fire drills and then come in and expect the place to burn down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. We go on fire drills so we know how to navigate in the event.
Right. Love that.
Right.
But
Love
listen, let's be clear. Don't set this bad boy on fire. If we can prevent that at all, let's go there first.
Okay. That part.
So that's what we're doing, man. So Jamal and Dr. Tanisha, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
Doc Parks, man, appreciate you, fam. This is good, and we got to have more of these conversations, man.
Absolutely.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, thanks for the invite.
Nothing else to do on a Saturday
night. Absolutely. So I'm gonna let everybody go who's watching. Listen, man, it's a great opportunity to get some needs met. I'm just gonna put it out there. Listen, if you need to practice what you preached, now might be a great time to do that.
Oh, we're gonna handle it.
All right, here we go. That's what's up. All right, fam. So last thing I want to say, shout out to Jacqueline. As a single person, this conversation was a blessing to me, and I have a lot of takeaways. Appreciate that.
Good. Praise
Appreciate
God.
that.
Praise God.
Pop, give us 20 more minutes. Give us 20 more minutes.
I got an appointment, bro.
Yeah, you got Listen, man.
You know, we're not trying to hold nobody up.
Yeah, the prize got work to do, so we're gonna let him go. We're gonna let him go. Listen, let me say one more thing to those of you who might still be here. Now, the dates are not correct because I didn't put in the correct graphic, but starting tomorrow morning, for the next 7 days, it'll stream live at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. However, if you're not an early bird, don't worry, you'll be able to catch the replay. We're doing a couples week of prayer where literally every morning we are just going to put certain components of marriage in front of the face of God, right? Communicating well, building holistic intimacy, resolving conflict, praying for healing, those kinds of things. And so if you are up at that time, you can join us live. If you are not, you can also catch the replay. That starts tomorrow for the next 7 days, this week of prayer. Adriana said divorced and learning.
Amen.
Adriana, sorry. Did I say that right?
Adriana.
You said it right.
Divorced and learning. I love it.
Amen.
Listen, because here's the thing. Everybody's on a journey of learning, right? That journey doesn't look the same for everybody.
Yeah.
True.
But the end result should be the same.
Mm-hmm.
End results. So I love it. I love that. Divorce and learning. All right, we're gonna get out of here. Man, listen, family, appreciate y'all. Y'all don't even have to stick around. Normally I would tell guests, hey, stick around for a second so we could say good night and goodbye to you. You don't even gotta do that if you don't want to. But listen, we're gonna get out of here. And we hope that you all were blessed by this conversation. And make sure you're here next week, next Saturday night, because we're going to do a part 3 for this. All right. So blessings on you, family. Have a fantastic night and a wonderful week.
Thank you guys so much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Welcome.
Our pleasure.
Yeah,
Our pleasure.
We appreciate you. All right. And with that being said, we can just roll the outro, can't we?
Yes.
Peace, family.